DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio.
Our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth and our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. In South Manila, this is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin.
DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio. Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan, kahit nasaan ka man ito'y mapapakinggan. Oh,
DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio.
ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
DA1 Radio. DA1 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
C81 Radio. C81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
C81 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
C81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
C81 Radio. C81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by the host do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect those of the host, the show, this station, the management, and the network. Here now is the program for the millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erika Mison, together with her fellow millennials, they will be making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Good afternoon, everyone. You are now tuned into Making a Difference. This is a show created to inspire and motivate the youth of today. My name is Erika Mison, and I am the host of Making a Difference. So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a lovely Saturday today. And for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for spending your Saturdays with me and with the V81 Radio team here on Making a Difference. I'm super happy to have you here on the show, and I'm really excited to talk to our guest later on, which I will, of course, introduce. But, of course, before we proceed to that, we have our usual question of the day. So if you are new here to Making a Difference, hello and welcome. I'm so happy for you to join us. Okay, I think I said that twice, but okay. I'm just really happy and super excited today. But again, for those of you who are new here, we have this segment or portion, if you call it, called Question of the Day. So we usually show the question of the day in the beginning of the show and throughout the show, just so we know, how I know how you guys think. That makes sense. Okay. I just want to know how you guys think. So let me know by answering the question down below. Okay. So can we flash the question of the day, please? Okay, there we go. So, question of the day. What is the role of science and technology today in present time? So, I want to know what you think. It can be a phrase or one word. If you want to do 2 to 3 sentences, it's fine. I just want to know your thoughts on this. Just comment them down below, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. And we will be flashing them later on at the end of the show. And I will be reading them live. So I'm excited to know what you guys think about the role of science and technology. Because honestly, I think this is the first time we're doing this on Making a Difference. I know we've featured so many great young leaders and in their different fields. But you know what? The team and I realized just last week that, we've never featured anyone to talk about science and technology. And that's something, of course, it's also important nowadays, especially now. It's been helping us so much. It's been helping us also survive the pandemic. So I believe this is very timely to talk about, science and technology, just to really spread awareness that it's here and it's helping us out. And we have people working so hard, and I'm really excited. Come to think of it, I was just talking to our guest a while ago, before the show started. And it made me really realize na science and technology is super important for any country actually to be able to survive. But we'll get to that later on. Of course, recap also from last week's episode, we had teacher Jali Husto on the show. So she is a teacher and she's also a storyteller. I super enjoyed that show because she actually did a live storytelling portion on our show. And even if it was for kids, I honestly really enjoyed, and I imagined seeing her live. So if you want to watch that episode, you can watch it here on Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can also watch it as well, together with all my other episodes starting from season 1. You can find it on those two platforms, Facebook and YouTube. And again, please don't forget to follow Making a Difference on Facebook and V81 Radio Manila on Facebook. Okay, so I think I really need to introduce my guest now. I've been rambling on, but I would I am honored to introduce to you our guest for today. We have Lem Castillo. He is a project manager under the Department of Science and Technology, or as we know here in the Philippines, DOST. So hello Lem, are you still there?
Hi, Erika. Good
There we
afternoon.
go.
Thank you so much for having me in your show.
Ayan. Ayun, there's Lem. Hello. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much again, Erika, and good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me in your show. It's a pleasure and it's an honor for me to be invited here and to be able to share with you my insights on our topic for today. I'm doing
Yeah,
good. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm really excited to talk to you. I know we've been talking since a while ago, but then
Mm-hmm.
now is really our time to talk about the main topic for today. But before we dive into that, we have this new thing. It started this season actually. It's just simple questions. We call it a kamustahan. I'll be asking you couple of questions. It's an either or, so no need to explain. Just pick which one you like, and no need to explain. That's it. Is that okay with you?
Sure, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Let's go, Lam. So the first one is okay. What do you prefer, coffee or tea?
Tough one. Tea.
Tea. Okay, same time. Then. Ice drink or hot drink?
Hot drink.
Hot drink. Okay. The city or the beach?
I'd say the beach.
Of course. Of course, the beach. I think lahat tayo ngayon, ma-beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Day or night?
Night.
Night. Okay. Weekends or weekdays?
Weekends, please.
Okay. Of course. Young professionals like us, parang
Uh-huh.
weekends. Okay. Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Do you prefer walking or running?
Um, I guess walking. Ang
Walking.
hirap pawisan ngayon eh.
Oh, it's very true. Okay. Sneakers or slippers?
Sneakers.
Okay. Watching a movie or reading a book?
Right now, dahil sobrang busy, siguro watching a movie.
Okay, yes. Okay. Last question. Complete the sentence. I am Lem. I am blank.
I am Lem and I am a science catalyst for change.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Lem. So again, this is Lem Castillo. He is a tama ba, project manager
Yes, yes, yes.
under DOST. Okay, so if you have any questions for Lem, please do comment them down below and we'll ask him later on sa show. And if gusto niyo magpa-shoutout din kay Lem, go ahead at he'll give his shoutouts later on. Ayan. Okay. So Lem, b- just to start lang the conversation, no? Maybe you could tell us something about yourself, where you
Mm-hmm.
graduated from, and how you got to where you are right now.
Mm-hmm. So, first of all, thank you so much again, Erika, for having me on your show. And just to give a shout out to all our viewers this afternoon, alam ko siguro kakatapos nyo lang mag-lunch or you're eating your lunch right now. So, I hope masasarap yung ulam nyo. So, to give you a bit background, my full name is Lemuel Castillo, but you can call me Lem. I was born and raised in Nasugbu, Batangas, and then I studied at the UP Los Baños, University of the Philippines in Los Baños, and I was able to finish a Bachelor of Science in Development Communication last December 2019. And since then, I've been working with the Technology Application and Promotion Institute of the Department of Science and Technology. I've had many roles in the institute, but right now my current role is as a project manager of one of the flagship program of the Department of Science and Technology, which is the Technicom program or the Technology Innovation for Commercialization program. So siguro back in my college, if you are familiar with my course, Development Communications, you go probably the first thing that you'll think of is sa communication. So bakit siya nag-work sa science field? So parang there's a disconnect on it. But actually during my college years, hindi ko rin inisip naman that I would be working in the science sector. So wala siya sa plano ko before. Hindi ko siya iniisip kasi parang before I was thinking na after graduation I would apply sa mga malalaking media companies and probably work as a reporter or as an anchor or as a host. But then again, God has His own plans and He brought me here. And right now I'm a science worker, bringing science to the people.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for sharing them. I know may disconnect nga, but I think it worked well. It worked well for you.
Mhm.
What exactly is development communications? I'm
Mhm.
curious.
That's actually a $1 million question for every student and graduate of our field. Number one, because when you think of a communication degree, probably people will think of communication arts or mass communication. So, but the thing is, developing communication came before this fields, yung mga nabanggit before, where it was conceptualized. It is the pioneering, actually, communication degree in the Philippines. It was conceptualized in the early 70s by the mother of DevCom, Dr. Nora C. So basically, developing communication, it's the science of communication, basically, using the science of communication in order to induce a positive change in our society. Parang we utilize the tools of communication, we study how human communication can be used and utilized to make certain changes, to uplift the lives of the people, and find ways on how we can solve societal problems using communication.
Right, right. Oh, actually may connect naman din eh kasi it's the
Yeah.
science behind communication. So,
Mhm,
medyo may connect. But what made you decide to go work for DOST? I know you mentioned that's your first job.
mhm,
And
mhm,
congratulations, by the way, on landing DOST for your first job.
uh-huh.
But what made you decide to go work for DOST?
Actually, just to give you a brief background, right after graduation, there's a little bit pressure for me to get a job immediately because right now I'm the breadwinner of our family, so there's a pressure for me to provide right after graduation. So I did a lot of job hunting right in December of 2019, and then there are a lot of opportunities that came before this job, but parang there's something missing. Parang I'm looking for something, a challenge, basically a challenge for me. And then came the opportunity to work for DOST. Just to give you a brief background, I'm not a fan of science during high school or college. Parang I'm someone that is scared of listening or seeing technical concepts, seeing numbers, seeing words that I cannot understand. So parang but when eventually when I learned my purpose and the purpose of my degree, basically one of the purposes of our degree is to communicate science to the people, and I took that challenge and accepted the opportunity to work in the USD. And lo and behold, after almost 2 years, I'm still here delivering service to the Filipino people. And I would not regret that decision to go into this field because there's still a lot of things that needs to be done inside this field. Napakarami pang mga bagay ang dapat gawin sa sektor ng agham at teknolohiya. And I'm very happy that I am one of the people working inside this sector, trying to make those goals a reality. because it's a reality na sa bansa natin right now, science and technology is still underappreciated. Parang ngayon lang nitong nag-pandemic na medyo nagkaroon ng ingay on how important science and technology is, but there's still a lot of things to be done, and I'm very happy that I'm here working for that.
Yeah, and I'm also excited to get to know more about what you do.
Mhm.
But before we dive into that, I want to get to know you a bit better. So,
Mhm.
Lem, do you have any personal advocacies, or
Mhm.
what is your passion?
Mhm. So growing up, I've always been a student leader in our school. So I'm actively involved in a lot of activities, projects that deals with outreach activities and activities that serves a certain purpose. And back in 2013, I was chosen to be a child representative of our town in a national conference wherein they're discussing the problems that Filipino children encounter. And one of the problems identified during that conference is child labor. So
Mm.
just to give you an idea, there are child labor. It's basically when children are forced to go to work and abandon their studies. So, and as we all know, dapat ang mga bata nag-aaral, hindi dapat sila nagtatrabaho. So that's one of my core advocacies growing up na kasi in Batangas, yung lugar namin, it's an agricultural province, municipality. So marami dong mga family are relies heavily on agricultural work, sugarcane, rice. And since itong mga work na to ay seasonal yung ano nila, yung produce, maraming mga bata, they choose to go out of school, drop out of school, and tulungan na lang yung parents nila na magtrabaho in field. So that's one of my core advocacies to help reduce, if not reduce, eliminate child labor in the Philippines, because if children are not able to go to school, they are deprived of the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to discover their passion. And that's something that nakakalungkot na makita na yun nga, may mga batang naabandon nila yung mga pangarap nila dahil
Yeah.
kinakailangan nila magtrabaho. So up until now naman, I'm still connected with the people that I've worked since 2014 on that advocacy. And I still love, advocating for it. Kasi nakakatuwa nga naman if walang mga bata na nagtatrabaho and all of them are enjoying their growing years in the school.
Right, right, right. And education is also
Yeah.
really important as well, especially at such a young age. Okay, so Lem, what what inspires you? What motivates you? What pushes you on a daily basis? Especially
Mhm.
now, I know you're working for DOST. So, is there something that really motivates you?
Siguro first and foremost, my family. I think everyone agrees with that. That our number one motivation to wake up and continue with what we are doing is our family. And my mother, I know she's watching right now. Shout out to my mother, hi mama, and to my
Oh,
brother. And so sila yung primary motivation ko. But as we grow older, we tend to seek or to look for our purpose in life. And as we age, every time we ask ourselves, why am I doing this? To what purpose I want to fulfill in my life. And right now, parang I wake up every morning thinking what more can I do to help more people understand the importance of science and technology. What more can I do to help them realize that science and technology is crucial for our daily survival, and to help them realize that science and technology is very important for us, for our country to grow and develop. So I think that's my primary motivation right now, especially that I'm working in the DOST.
right. Thank you so much, Lem. Okay, so now that you mentioned nga DOST, maybe you could share some experiences or anything that you've learned so far working for DOST. I know at such a young age, you're already
Mm-hmm.
involved in this department. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe you'd like to share some experiences or what it's like basically
Mm-hmm.
to work for DOST.
Siguro, one of the perks of working inside the Department of Science and Technology is you're able to witness how Filipino innovations and inventions grow from a small idea, from a concept into an actual tangible technology. So parang ano mo yun, when you see scientists, researchers propose a certain concept, and then few months later you see that concept turn into an actual technology that works for a purpose. So I think that's something that not everyone can actually enjoy, and that's a privilege that I get to enjoy right now. And at the same time, you get to meet the people that work behind the laboratories, the ones that provide solution to the societal problems that we have right now, especially during the pandemic. No, I was able to meet the doctor who created the RT-PCR kit that we're using. So parang you get a backstage access with these people, and at the same time, it's very inspiring kasi you see the work that they do, the time that they spend to dedicate their self in the development of these technologies. Nakaka-inspire kasi, hindi siya biro. It takes years of dedication for them to actually produce something that has a purpose. And that I think that's something that not a lot of people understand.
Yeah, definitely exciting, no, for you, for you to see like it actually bloom and
Mm-hmm,
happen.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I bet it's super exciting for you. So,
Yes, yes.
other than that, is there anything else that makes your work worthwhile?
Mm-hmm. Siguro, what makes my work worthwhile is our work looks into how the future of our country should be. Kasi a lot of works right now, they focus on what is happening right now. But when it comes to science and technology, you should always be forward looking. The things that you do should not be on a short term basis, but on a long term effect. Because you would want to think how these things, how our work will make an impact 5 to 10 years from now, how it will be able to support the national government in its goals to modernize our country. And at the same time, it gives us a challenge to always think of new ways to provide solutions and innovation. At the same time, to let the people know that we exist. Kasi that's the main challenge with science workers. Not a lot of people appreciate the work that we do, the work that our scientists do. So part of my job as a science communication specialist then as well is to find ways of campaigns and strategies to let the Filipino people know that there are scientists, Filipino scientists, working 24/7 to find ways of making our lives easier.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you also. Yeah, listening to your story and hearing what you have to say. I know you're all working hard in the department,
Mm-hmm.
especially now. Yeah, during COVID, I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody now is working really hard. So I'd like to thank you for your hard work. Really, like
Thank you very
you.
much as well for appreciating us.
Yeah, yeah. Curious. Like I really appreciate every all the work that you're doing, and I know
Mm-hmm.
spreading awareness is one really important task
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
you and for the department. So that's why we're here to hopefully help you also spread awareness to, especially
Uh-huh,
to the
uh-huh.
viewers, to the young ones, so that hey, there's DOST, just so you know, we're here, we're
Yeah, yeah,
working.
yeah.
Thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much. Thank you so much
Mm-hmm.
for your hard work. I just wanna ask, you entered DOST right before the pandemic,
Yes,
right?
yes, actually, three
Yeah,
weeks before the pandemic started.
3 weeks. So did you even get to experience office work? Kasi first job mo, or
Yes,
really?
we were we were able to go to the office. I got hired in February 26th of 2020. So that was three
Okay,
weeks before the nationwide lockdown was
yes,
declared. If I remember,
correct.
that was March 15. That's very memorable kasi very vivid yung image that time. So I was still able to work on a normal office setup. No, you have your
Okay.
colleagues there on an everyday basis. You work from 8 to 5 p.m. And then the
Yeah.
pandemic came. So
Mm.
parang and at the same time, I was very thankful that I was able to get a job before the pandemic happened. Because a lot of people, especially Gen Z's my age, who graduated during the pandemic, had a tough time looking for a stable job, looking for a regular job that could give them a stable income. And I'm very thankful that the UST gave me this opportunity before the pandemic. So I was able to, secure a job that could provide for my family before the pandemic started. And ayun, nakakatuwa naman. But syempre parang nakakabitin kasi
Of
after nun,
course.
after nun 6 months na akong work from home. Yeah.
True, di ba? And it's your first job. Of course,
Yeah.
you feel very excited and
Mm.
I know that feeling kasi first
Ah, parang
trabaho.
parang
Di ba?
nag-a-adjust pa lang ako sa office setup na ganito pala yung pakiramdam when you're working already and then biglang boom, nationwide lockdown. So what is gonna happen next?
Yeah. Oh. So how are you coping naman now? How are things with you now?
For the first months of the pandemic, it was very challenging because working at home with no available resources at your disposal, and you're still gonna have to deliver your outputs. It's kind of a challenge for us science workers kasi wala kami access sa laboratories, wala kami access sa office facilities, so we have to provide for our own, and we have to communicate virtually. It's a very big adjustment for us, but as science and technology workers, we should be ahead, 2 steps ahead of everyone because we have to think of a better solution to adjust kasi people rely on science and technology workers to provide solutions to the dilemmas that we experience in our society. So that's an exciting and memorable experience for me. But coping up with it as time goes by, you learn to live with it. You learn to adjust and accept the reality that there's a new normal, and we just have to live with it, at the same time find ways on how we can live better and provide better solutions para sa mga kababayan natin kasi, as you all know, not everyone has the same privilege and access to resources such as us. So kung nahihirapan na kami, what more yung mga kababayan natin na less privileged. So we have to work hard and at least empathize with them, and it motivates us even more to make our work better, to perform better, because there are people paying their taxes for us to do our job, so we have to
Hmm.
live up to their expectations.
All right. Okay. So we are gonna go on a quick break. But when we come back, we are still gonna talk to Lem, and he will be talking about what he does for DOST. So
Mhm.
stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes.
See you guys.
We'll be back shortly, making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Get into the treasure trove of undiscovered music through Napalm, your new all Pinoy alternative music. Whether it's rock, metal, reggae, soul, or pop, we have it covered. Napalm features upcoming Pinoy artists and musicians, hosted by Lace Jimenez and Thunder God Bernard. So sit back and relax and enjoy Napalm, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
It's a tough business out there. So many uncertainties, operational difficulties, deadlines. We provide the solutions and services that your company needs at the best price, guaranteed, with our global principles. And experienced partners, we bring solutions to your current and future business. Inolution, supporting your business as always.
Now back to Making a Difference, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
All right, welcome back to Making a Difference. Again, my name is Erika Mison, and you are now tuned in to Making a Difference here on V81 Radio Manila. So, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much again for being here and joining us on Making a Difference. Now, before the break, I actually introduced our guest for today. His name is Castillo, and he works under the Department of Science and Technology here in the Philippines. So we got to know him a little bit, what he does, and he also shared to us his passion and what it's like working for DOST. But before I call him back again, I would like to share to you our question of the day. So again, for those of you who are new here, we have this portion, what we call question of the day. All you need to do is just answer the question that we will be flashing. You can answer it whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, and I will be reading your answers at the end of the show. So, can we have our question of the day, please? Ayan. What is the role of science and technology in present time? So, what do you guys think? I want to know what you think about this. It doesn't need to be a super long answer. It can just be one sentence, two sentences. It's really up to you. So, feel free to answer this question, and I will be reading them live at the end of the show. So, I'd like to call back again on screen our guest for today. His name is Castillo. Hi
Hi
again,
again, Erika.
Yan. Okay, so welcome back. Okay, so now let's talk more about the science and technology sector now. Maybe you could share to us your recent projects and what you do for them.
Okay, so basically, I'm a project manager for the Technology Innovation for Commercialization program, or as we commonly call it in our department, the Technicom program. So the Technicom program has been in existence since 2003. It was first conceptualized by former DOST secretary. Um, and during that time, they were thinking of how we can help our technology developers in our country be able to access more resources to make their technologies better and to be able to be at par with competing similar technologies. So basically, we provide financial and technical assistance to Filipino technology generators and developers so that their technology ideas, their proposal projects for technologies becomes a reality. So we assess on what aspects do they need help, how much do they need to be able to successfully do their project. So we make sure that the technologies do not become stuck at the laboratory. They go from the lab to the market. So basically, that's our pathway from lab to the market. So we provide the necessary interventions for them to be able to let Filipino innovations keep up with international standards. Kasi that's one of the weakness right now of our country, the science and technology sector. But in the recent years, dahil na rin siguro sa patuloy na pagtaas ng allocation, and at the same time, nagiging mas maingay na yung halaga ng science and technology sa mga tao, mas nadadagdagan tayo ng resources na magagamit at maibibigay sa mga Filipino inventors so that yung mga local innovations natin can be, can compete and can actually be the primary go-to technology sa bansa natin. Na so the time will come, we don't have to import technologies from abroad because we already have locally made Filipino technologies. And we have a lot of Filipino made technologies. The only thing that hinders them from taking off and actually being used by a lot of Filipinos is the support from the support from the public. And we try to fill that gap by providing them technical and financial assistance. At the same time, communicating to the public the importance of their innovation. At the same time, letting the Filipino people know na may mga ganito na tayong technology. So, napakarami na nating mga technologies na pwedeng mag-solve ng existing problems natin. All we have to do is to accept them, to invest in them, and to adopt these technologies.
Right, right, right. We have a question here from Hannah
Mhm.
Manuel. And I want to ask this to you. So, can we have that? There we go. She says, so true that our country undervalues our scientists. What can you say about Filipino researchers that go abroad to find better career options?
Mhm. It's actually a sad reality in the past decades that a lot of Filipino scientists and researchers and science and technology workers in general choose to work abroad. Number one, not because they do not want to serve our country. I'm very sure that these people love our country and they want to serve our country. But there are certain things that they also have to think of their families, and it is a reality that Filipino science and technology workers are underpaid compared to their counterparts abroad. But what's good is in the recent years, the Department of Science and Technology actually created and launched a program called the Balik Scientist Program, wherein they encourage and call Filipino scientists working abroad to go back in the Philippines in exchange for better opportunities, greater access to resources, and more incentives for them to go back and serve here in our country. And I'm very happy that a lot of Filipino scientists from abroad are now going back to the Philippines given this program. And I think it's just high time that we appreciate our science and technology workers even more because it's a reality that we have to face. Na feel ko na-realize lang natin na the pandemic na we cannot afford to disregard our scientists because they will be the one to provide answers to our most pressing questions of the time.
Yeah, very true. And that's such a cool program.
Mhm.
Honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. See, I told you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn a lot from I'm gonna learn a lot from you today.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
that's honestly really cool. And I know there are a lot of intelligent Filipinos,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to science and tech. So it's great. That's honestly really
Mhm.
nice to hear that the DOST has a program like that.
Mhm.
No? So, what can you say? I know your challenge as a professional working for DOST is really trying to spread awareness and filling the gap
Mhm.
between you guys and us Filipino citizens. So, how do you think kaya na how can we further improve this in your opinion?
Mhm. Siguro our guiding principle for this is that we believe that a research that is not well communicated is useless. So kahit gaano pa kaganda yung isang study, yung isang pag-aaral on a certain topic, kapag hindi siya naunawaan ng mga ordinaryong Pilipino, it becomes moot and useless. Why? Kasi there's no use for it. Filipino people would not know how to utilize this new knowledge. So I think right now what we do is to invest heavily on science communication. We do a lot of campaigns and we produce multimedia materials that help translate and humanize this technical information and knowledge so that the ordinary Filipino people can understand them, can digest this information, and they can decipher on how they can utilize this knowledge. And at the same time, we try to reach every levels of society. Kasi hindi naman pwede na we just communicate to a certain group of Filipino people. We have to reach every level. So our institute, the Technology Application and Promotion Institute, launches a lot of programs. So we have programs such as the Invent School, wherein we go to different schools in the Philippines, and as we talk to students as young as elementary students up to the college level, and we try to communicate to them, explain to them that they could actually pursue a career in the science and technology field because there's a stereotype na mahirap pumasok sa SNTQ,
Yeah.
but that's not the reality. There are a lot of opportunities that they can grab. For example, an institute of the DOST, the Science Education Institute, provides a lot of scholarships for Filipino students who want to pursue careers in science and technology. They just have to apply every year. Nag-open naman siya, and they do not have to pay for everything. Plus, binibigyan pa sila ng stipend ng institute. So, the problem is that is hindi masyadong alam ng mga kababayan natin na merong mga ganitong programa ang DOST. And that's a challenge for us. And we try our best every day to think of ways of how we can communicate it. So we partner with different sectors of the society, including local government units. We partner with them, with non-government organizations, with student organizations and people's organizations to help them to help spread the message that these programs for our people na sila din naman ang nagpopondo through their taxes exist, and this is for them. And the only thing that they have to do is utilize it.
Definitely. Do you have any other campaigns that you are currently working on here in the OST?
Right now, I'm very excited to share with everyone that our program is currently undergoing a reboot, the Technicom program. So maybe next year we'll be launching a new kind or a new brand of the Technicom program, and we are currently thinking of ways of how we can serve more Filipinos better, on how we can provide wider assistance for them, on how they can utilize the fruits of science and technology and innovation, because as we go through the pandemic, alam naman natin na we're hoping na papatapos na yung pandemic. But and the biggest challenge is how we can bounce back after that. And science and technology sector should be at the forefront of that goal of bouncing back after the pandemic. So I'm very excited na hopefully in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and hopefully by the start of January 22, more and more programs for Filipino inventors, researchers, and technologists are up for grabs for them. So siguro abangan lang natin. Let's follow all the social media pages of the Department of Science and Technology, and let's try to spend some time. Siguro if we have time to do TikTok and Instagram, siguro we can find time then at least 5 minutes to visit the Facebook pages, the official websites of the OST and its attached agency, so that we'll be able to know ano pa yung mga programs that they can offer for us. And ayun, siguro to give you a chance na rin, baka i-plug ko yung, I'm actually one of the social media content producers of our official Facebook page for the program. If it's okay to flash it, it's the facebook.com/technologia. So
Okay.
right there, we launch a lot of programs and webinars and multimedia materials. We publish it there that explains different science concepts, and at the same time we provide platform to our S&T workers so that they can personally and reach more people. So ayun, I hope you guys visit our page there.
Congrats, ah. Sorry, did you just I think I missed it. Did you just launch the Technologia Facebook page?
It's been up since 2018, but
Okay.
we are now in preparation to launch a new branding for it, maybe in
Okay.
2022, January 22. So I hope you
Nice.
guys stay tuned, and there are a lot of exciting things that's gonna happen in 2022 for the S&T sector.
Yeah, oh, I'm so excited. I'm honestly so excited. And it's so great to hear that, it's nice to know someone, to hear from someone who's working for
Mm-hmm.
DOST, all these projects and upcoming projects. So I hope to all the viewers who are watching, I hope you guys are excited as much as I am. So
Mm-hmm.
please just follow DOST, agree with them. You can scroll on like Instagram, on TikTok. Then that means we can also take time to like read about
Uh,
DOST. And yeah, money. You guys are also looking for scholarships. Diba? Check out the
yes.
DOST as well. Yeah. So
Siguro
let
Erica, just to add din, no, maybe our audience are thinking na if it's science and technology, baka they're just talking about physics, their biology and chemistry, but that's not the thing. When you talk about science and technology, the applications of it is limitless. So we have technologies that are can be used in agriculture. We have technologies that can be used in food security and health. We also have technologies that provides artificial intelligence. Yes, we have that already in the Philippines, and then
oh
and a lot more applications. So the limit, the sky is the limit for science and technology, and
yes.
exciting days are ahead of us.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. I think that's a stigma. No, when you
Mm-hmm.
say science and technology, it's really like physics or
Mm-hmm,
chemistry or
mm-hmm.
even medicine,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
health, right? But then you're right. Sky's the limit for science and technology. Like there's so much to explore,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
there's so much. I believe that there's so much that we can offer
Mm-hmm,
as well.
mm-hmm.
I'm sure
Yes.
you agree with that. No? So
Mm-hmm.
during this pandemic, I think a couple of us here watching will agree with me on this. No, now it's really I realized how important you are, you and your colleagues who are working under the science and technology field. Like, I do realize that it's really your job is really important. So is there anything you'd like to say about
Mhm. Siguro, I would like to take this opportunity rin to invite our the students and the general public to pursue careers in science and technology because there's still a shortage of Filipinos pursuing work in our field. Number one, probably they're scared of pursuing it. They're or they are hesitant that they will have a good job after this. But to give you an idea of it, actually SNT field is one of the highest paid sectors in our government. So if you're looking for a starting job with a good pay, DOST is the place for you.
that.
So sa mga
There you
fresh
go.
grads natin dyan, nanonood sa atin, if you want to have a first job that gives you a challenge, gives you greater opportunities, provides you with different perspectives of the world, not just how you see it in plain view, but behind the camera, behind the laboratories, and behind it. DOST is your home, and I think I'll still be working for the department for many years to come, because the purpose is there, and the vision is clear that we have to really make science felt by the people, since it is for the people and by the people.
Yes, agree 100%. So, sorry, I want to go back to what you said.
Uh-huh.
Natawa ko kasi I remember also, I think when we're fresh grads talaga, we instantly think, does this pay well? Does this job pay well? That's everybody's, not gonna lie. I mean, that was also,
Mhm.
pag fresh grad talaga. But, also the experience, I am 100% sure, Lem, like, you are gonna learn so much from DOST. Like, you are
Mhm.
involved, especially now. Now is the most crucial time for, and not also the best time. It's crucial, it's the best.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's like everything for science and technology because we need you more now than ever.
Yes, yes.
When the pandemic hit, right? So,
Mhm.
so I'm
And
sure you're gonna learn. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Mhm. And at the same time, siguro, I want our viewers to know that if you are working for science and technology, it gives you that certain of empowerment. Since you have access to this body of knowledge, these resources, you'll be empowered enough to have a clear and concrete stand on our social issues. Why? Because you have a background on the science behind it. For example, on certain policies, just to give you a shade of on how the policy on the face shield,
Oh,
the
okay.
most hated face shield. If you have a background on science and technology, you'll have a stronger argument on if you are opposing that or if you are in favor of that, because you see the benefits of it, the pros and the cons of it, and at the same time you will be able to understand it more, and so that when you give a stand online or in social media or outside, when you talk with your peers and your friends, you'll be able to defend your answer better because you have proof and you have data to support your claims. But to set things clear, I don't agree with the face shield policy, and I'm
I
very
was
happy that
going to ask you. I was
and
actually going to ask you him the question. What does he need? Very
well.
controversial guy, yun eh. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I don't agree with it because number one, our health workers na rin naman yung nagsasabi, experts in the field na it
Mm,
doesn't give us that much protection. But
okay.
since it is a policy, so we have to comply with it. But
Okay.
it's also a challenge for people working in our sector that whatever knowledge we have, the researches that we discover, we should actually make sure that our voice is united. Kasi it should set the tone for our policies that are being implemented in the country. Kasi mahirap na yung mga batas natin, mga policies natin ay hindi backed by science. Kasi it would cause chaos to our society. So that's the challenge then for us, and a challenge for aspiring science and technology workers who may be watching us right now. Kasi we should influence on how progress is dictated in our country. The science and technology should dictate that, not the other way around. Kasi
Mm,
science is based on facts. It's not based on politics. So that's a challenge for us, and that's a good
okay.
challenge. Na we should
Yeah.
communicate that SNT, science and technology, should have a strong say on how we run our country.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. 100%. Kasi, you know, it, you're right. You're based on facts, right?
Mhm.
And ako, like, I also rely on facts too. You
Mhm.
know, all the numbers as well. I'm sure you have to deal with that too. No? All the mga
Mhm. Mhm.
numbers and all that. You know, it's true. It's what Lem is saying. I honestly do agree with this. So you know, I I believe in you guys. I believe in DOST. And after speaking to you, I'm sure there are people like your colleagues also have the same
Mhm.
passion and the same heart
Mhm.
and the same belief.
Mhm.
So we have a
Actually,
question here. Sige, go ahead.
siguro
Before
before we
I
go
go.
that, meron kasi kaming joke sa field namin na
Okay.
walang science fiction film na nag end sa disaster maliban sa isang scientist na hindi pinakinggan from the start. So I think we should learn from that specific, kasi most of the sci-fi movies ganun, di ba? There's a scientist na saying that this gonna happen based on my study. But the people do not listen sa kanila, and the thing that they say end up happening. So, yun yung lesson for us na to listen to our scientists.
Yeah. Oo. I also learned that in this pandemic.
Mhm.
It's parang biglang when they started talking about when they started stating facts and showing
Mhm.
all proof and numbers,
Mhm.
ano, you feel when you hear it from them mismo.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I feel that sense of that the trust is there. Na,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, I believe what you guys are saying. So
Uh,
for those of you who are still thinking about it, still thinking
mhm.
about you know going into the field of science and technology, and you guys are a bit scared, but your passion is there. As long as honestly, as long as your
Mhm.
passion is there, your heart is in it, you know, you should be fine. Just like Lem. Just by
Yes.
talking to Lem, I could honestly see that his heart is in the right place. And
Mhm.
you know, DOST is like the perfect fit for you. I'm
Mhm.
just so happy that you got that. You got a spot in DOST. So going into the question, this is another I want to ask you this question by Bougie Gonzalez Manuel. So if you can flash that here. But he is asking, since the applications are widespread, does a career in science and technology necessarily require a STEM education background?
That's actually an interesting question. So,
Yeah.
I'm a living example that it is not required. Kasi,
Yeah.
yeah, as you all know, I am a graduate of BS Development Communication. Even though it's a BS, it's a Bachelor of Science, we do not really have that much background in hard sciences. But still, we are here working for the DOSTY because, we serve as the middlemen between the experts and the lay people. We serve as the translator. We try to absorb the technical information coming from our experts, and we package it in a way that ordinary people can understand. So you do not necessarily have to pursue a STEM education background in order for you to work in the science and technology field, but it could be an advantage if you do. But it's not hindi rin naman siya a disadvantage if you don't. So you see me here, di ba? I'm a communication graduate, but I'm managing science and technology projects. To give you a background,
Yeah.
I'm managing 60 different projects and technologies with application in various sectors as agriculture, health, food science, industry, smart cities, and artificial intelligence. So you just have to be dedicated. You just have to love the work. You have to have the passion for it in order for you to do good in it. So hindi mo naman kailangan na you have a specific background in SME STEM.
Nice. Thank you so much, Lem. So for those of you again who are still deciding, I know kasi K-12 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have that option to choose what track. But either honestly any track. Actually, you know, if I could just share, like I am also not really in my field.
Mm-hmm.
I took up diplomacy, but I work for a retail company. Um, but you know, I don't think you need to really worry about that. If again, what Lem just to quote what Lem
Mm-hmm.
said, you know, you're if it's there, like if it's your interest talaga, then go for it. You know, there will always be a way for you. I know there are viewers here who are still young, and they're still deciding on what track. So take it from us, no pressure, just as long as you like doing what you're doing. Your passion is there, and you should be fine. You should, kasi parang kasi when you start working, it won't feel like work. You know that feeling, no? Then, parang, kasi you like what you're doing. So, there. So, there. Some ate and kuya advice for Bougie and the other viewers. So, before we go on break, Lem, I just want to ask you, as you are a program manager under DOST, and you mentioned you're handling like 60 of them. So, what is one thing that you are most proud of
Mhm.
being a project manager and working for DOST?
Siguro, I'm proud of the fact that I'm part of the story of these technologies. I may not be the one who developed them, but I was part of the story of it. So someday soon, maybe 5, 10 years from now, when I see these technologies actually being used by common Filipino people, doing its purpose, I can, proudly think inside myself na I'm part of the story of how it started, how it came from an idea into an actual reality. And I hope that this experience can also be the same for aspiring young SNT workers out there. That you're part of the history, you're part of the story of the technology, how it grew, how it served its purpose. And time will come, siguro pag mga lola at lola na tayo, it's a story that we can tell to our children. That the technology you see outside the building, the store, in the street, I'm part of that. So it's something
Definitely.
that I think I will always be proud of.
Definitely. Okay, thank you so much, Lem. We are gonna go on another break, but when we come back, we are gonna end the show with Lem. So if you have any more questions, please do feel free to comment them down below, and we'll see you here after a couple of minutes.
Be back shortly, making a difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Big Media is all about life's journey.
Yung mga yon, mga bata pa sila dati nung nakakasama ka sila. So ngayon, sikat na sila. Kaya,
In digital, entertainment,
maraming salamat po na nabigyan nyo kami ng opportunity.
information, story, inspiration, and experiences. Whenever, wherever you want, welcome. Join us as we push the boundaries of possibility here with Big Media.
Welcome to Pride and Proud Asia, Asia's first online radio show that champions LGBT contribution and leadership in business and in our country and the region. Hosted by the Philippine LGBT Chamber of Commerce, visibility, representation, and empowerment. This is Pride and Proud Asia. Happy Pride!
Welcome to the program that amplifies and builds power in its network, linking you and your company to business communities while highlighting your persona, products, practice. Talk Shop Asia Power Network, now on its season 2, hosted by Organizational Development Network champion Maricar Sandalo, direct selling sensei Jojo Barakias, and ASEAN EduTech leader Dr. Alex Reyes, with the founding anchor, business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas. Brought to you by Direct Selling Association of the Philippines, Union Bank Global Linker, ASEAN Youth Organization, and Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park, engaging you with CEO talks, community mind, feature shops, and the variety of them. Talk Shop Asia Power Network, Power Drop, your network here to talk.
Now back to Making a Difference. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Welcome back to Making a Difference. So we are now towards the end of the show, but if you are just tuning in now, don't worry because our guest is still here. And if you want to ask him any questions, you can comment them down below, whether you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube. And also, please don't forget to follow Making a Difference and V81 Radio on Facebook. All right. So before I introduce our guests again, I'd like to show our question of the day. So we still have it, and you still have a chance to answer the question of the day. So, what do you think is the role of science and technology in present time? I want to know what you think. You can comment your answers down below, whether on Facebook and on YouTube. And I will be reading the answers live at the end of the show. Okay, so I'd like to call back again our guest, Lem Castillo. He is a project manager for the Department of Science and Technology. All right,
Hi
ayan.
again,
Hello,
Erika.
Lem. Hello, ayan. At since nagsabi ako ng pwede sila magtanong ng questions, we have a couple of new questions here that I'd love to ask you. So the first question here, another question from Hannah Manuel, and she says, we tend to rely on testimonies from families and relatives, especially during election season. How do we get people to pay better attention?
Okay, so this is a tough question since you know the election season is just around the corner. But siguro, what we can do with this is to actually challenge the candidates, those who aspire for position, to listen to experts when it comes to building their platform of government. When it comes to them proposing for solutions, we have to challenge them to base it on the existing knowledge that is provided by our S&T experts. Hindi pwedeng hugot lang saan. So they have to have a backing on that. And we cannot siguro hindi natin maiwasan na talagang during election season magamit yung mga ganitong yung SNT yung SNT results ng research ng SNT for political purposes, but as people siguro we have to remind ourselves na it's also our responsibility to examine these people better, to know their backgrounds and to see if they would really be an ally of the science and technology if they get to be elected. Kasi iba naman yung nangangako lang sa actually talagang ginagawa nila. So we have to look at their track record, if they really rely on science and technology during their past terms, if they are already incumbents or if they are newcomers in the field. You have to ask them. If you have an opportunity to interact them, to ask questions to these aspiring candidates, ask them questions of how they treat science and technology if they get elected. So it's a responsibility two ways. Number one, for the candidates to live up to the expectation of the people who are trusting them, follow the mandate that they're applying for, and for the people to examine and scrutinize these candidates better. Nang sa ganun, hindi siya nagagamit for this political purpose only.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Lem. And another question I'm gonna throw at you by Bougie Gonzalez Manuel again. Most people, when they receive information, take it to be true. But as we've seen, this is not always the case. How do you suggest this can be addressed?
Mhm. Actually, this is the reality that even though we exist providing the most reliable sources of information for Filipino people when it comes to science and technology, marami pa rin talagang mga nagpapakalat ng fake news. Not only on politics but fake news on science and technology as well. We see a lot of articles online saying that this and that can cure COVID, this and that can do
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
But the thing is, we have to really fact check. We have to do
Yes.
cross-referencing. We have to check sino bang nagsabi nito. Is this supported by expert? Was it published on a reliable website? You have to be you have to be in Tagalog, you have to be mapagmasid, pangahas.
Okay.
Ayun, you have to do that kasi it could be a matter of life and death. You know, if you don't if you just take it in as plain as is and you apply it and something happens to you after doing that, so there's nothing to you're gonna ask who to blame. But you know, if you did not do your part as an individual to scrutinize, do your own research, cross-reference, fact check, and then probably you yourself is to blame. But on the bigger picture, it's a community effort. Dapat it's not an individual, more than the individual efforts. It could be a community effort to help one another, cross-reference everything that we saw online or everything that we read, ask each other, engage in debates, engage in discussions, and discussions that are actually healthy and educational, not those that deal with mudslinging and everything. So when we do
Yeah.
that, we do collective action when it comes to this. we will come to a point that we agree on a certain thing that is based on science and technology. So I guess that's the best thing that we can do, and always listen to our experts. They are very accessible naman online, and siguro wag tayong kasi there's this concept of opinion leaders sa isang community. There's a certain person na parang when he or she say something, siya yung paniniwalaan ng community. So we should choose our opinion leaders well. Um, Dapat make sure natin na yung mga pinagkakatiwalaan nating tao are actually to be trusted and credible and can actually back their claims with science and facts. So more than the individual responsibility, it should be a community effort.
Right. So, given all of this, Lem, how do you think we should encourage our fellow Filipinos, especially the young ones, no, to really support science and technology?
Siguro at the very least, they have to understand that science and technology, it serves as a guiding light for the Filipino people to cruise our way on every challenge or every adversity that we face towards our goal of progress and development. And it's still a battle of privilege, kasi we can always say that na dapat ang mga Pilipino sinusuporta nila ang science and technology, but we also have to look at the bigger picture and go down to the communities kung do they have access to these resources. Baka kasi produce ng mga materials that could explain it, but they do not have access. So you should go down to the level of that and think of ways we can reach them better, not only on the behind the screens of our cameras, but siguro when the time comes that the pandemic is over, we go down to our communities and look at the situation on the ground and assess on how we can help them, how can help them understand that science and technology is important. So it is our job, but as Filipino people, we can do our part in it in small ways. Everything that we learn something new in school or in our work, share it to someone else. Because when you share something new that is true and factual, just like fake news, the true news can also spread fast. So, labanan natin ang fake news with true news or with factual news that is based on science and technology. So, I guess that's what we can do with regards to that.
Yeah. So, what is your advice to those who want to pursue a career in the field of science and technology? Do you have any
Um,
message for them?
Siguro to everyone watching right now was thinking of pursuing a job in the science and technology field. Um, Hold on, put your
Yay!
seatbelts, because why? It would be an amazing adventure and journey for you. You will be given a lot of challenges that will maybe push you to your limits. But after you successfully accomplish that task, you will be very happy na I thought before di ko to kaya. Na akala ko before ito na yung limit ko, but lo and behold, you're able to successfully do that. And if you're thinking if there's if there's money in science and technology, yes, there is. Though that's not the priority, but if it's the reality is that's a concern. So if you're thinking if you're gonna have a good future in S&T, yes, you will have.
You go. So go for it, guys. If you wanna pursue, go for it. Lem is like a live other thing. Yeah. Lem is like a living testimony. So take it from him. No? All right, Lem. I wanna ask you our question of the day. So can we flash that, please? For those of you who are watching, you can still answer the question of the day by commenting down below on Facebook or on YouTube. So for you, Lem, what do you think is the role of science and technology in present?
I really believe that science and technology plays a role that it serves as a backbone of our nation building efforts. Because when science and technology is at the center of everything that we do in our country, the way we run our country, the way we launch programs, the way we plan ahead of time, it provides a guarantee that society can become future proof. Whatever happens in the future, we become adaptive. Whatever challenge comes, we can surpass them. And then, of course, science and technology provides answers that are trusted, reliable, and credible.
Thank you so much for that, Lem. And honestly, thank you so much for being here today and really sharing. I'm so happy that we pushed through with this episode. I really wanted to talk about spreading awareness about science and technology. So thank you so much, Lem, for being here today. Is there anything else that you would want to share? Baka may gusto kang i-shout out dyan. I'm giving you the floor.
Okay, thank you so much again, Erica, and the rest of the team, the Making a Difference team, for even for giving me this opportunity to speak in your platform, providing me time listening to my stories. It's really an honor for me, and in the future, I'll be looking back at this experience as a memorable one, and you'll be the one who gave it to me. And for the people watching right now, thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you take everything that you've said right now with a grain of salt, because we still need to be critical in everything. Even though I am already in the field, there's a lot of perspective within our field. Possibly hindi ganito yung pag-iisip ng mga kapwa ko in the field. So we have to take it with a grain of salt. And shout out to my family who's watching right now, si Mama, si Jibril, to my work colleagues in the work nila, si Ate Jana, sina Emil, Danica, Liza, Ira, and the rest of the team na nagtitiwala sa akin and working with me right now. Thank you very much. And I hope you support our platform. Right now, we have several platforms on Facebook. Number one is facebook.com/technologia. So if you want to know more about Filipino inventions, you can visit our Facebook page. We have a lot of multimedia videos, podcasts, webinars there that you can watch. And you can also follow another Facebook page. It's facebook.com/iinventph. So there we feature a lot of Filipino inventions. Matutuwa kayo kasi you thought na walang ganito sa Philippines, but actually meron. You just have to give them platform and time to get to know them. So again, thank you so much again, Erika, for having me in your show, and I really really appreciate that you express how grateful you are with our science and technology worker. And I'll be sure to let my colleagues know how you give us support in this way.
Thank you so much, Lem. I really enjoyed talking to you today. And I do hope na we get to see each other in person, hopefully. And mabuhay ang science and technology. ano. So
Yes.
I wish please take care and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much,
Yes, yes.
Lem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Erika. Ingat ka.
You too. Bye-bye. All right. So that was Lem Castillo, a project manager under the Department of Science and Technology here in the Philippines. And he just talked about his experience working for DOST, and he shared he had like a couple of highlights when talking about spreading awareness about the science and technology field. It's really important, especially now. And I know they are working so hard. So let us continue to support the department. And again, also fact check. I want to stress on that really. Fact check everything that you see. DOST is on social media. DOST also has a website, and then you can follow the links that Lem shared. So please do always double check. But yeah, let's continue to support the departments here in the Philippines, not just DOST, but all the other departments. I know they're working very hard to help our country progress. So I'm so happy that we were able to push through this episode. I've been wanting to feature someone or an organization in the science and technology field because it has been you, the importance. It's very very important now. So there, very thankful for that, and I'm thankful to have met Lem as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. But that's it for today's episode. Just an announcement also. So next week, December 4, will be the last live episode of Making a Difference for the year, and we will be taking a very long holiday break. But again, if you do want to watch a couple of my episodes, you can watch it on Facebook or on YouTube. You can also watch this after it goes live. It will be posted on both platforms. And again, please do not forget to follow Making a Difference and V81 Radio Manila on Facebook. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your Saturdays with me, with us, the Making a Difference team and the V81 Radio Manila team. I hope you're all doing well and please continue to stay safe. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Take care, everyone.
Millennials that will showcase young professionals' worth, aspirations, and successes in doing what they believe is right, progressive, and inclusive. Making a difference. Making a difference. Join them as they discover the path to self and societal fulfillment while making a difference. Hosted by empowered and cool millennial Erika Mison. Together with her cool millennials, they will be making a difference. Every Saturday, 1 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, your all hits, all Pinoy digital radio station in South Manila. This is V81 Radio.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Ito ang radio mo, ito ang radio ko.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Dahil mahal namin kayo.
V81 Radio, V81 Radio.
Para sa inyo ito, V81 Radio.